Welcome to Parkour Kitchen, episode 10. Today we're going to talk about herbs and spices. What is the difference between an herb and a spice? Traditionally, the herb has been specific to the leafy green portion of the plant. Things like basil, cilantro, parsley, and other leafy greens have been inside this category. Spices, on the other hand, refer to items that come from the stalk, the seed, the bulb, the root, and other parts of the plant. Things like paprika, anise, fennel. However, the American Spice Trade Association classifies both of these as spices, in such that any part of the plant preserved for the enhancement and flavor of food is considered a spice and an herb. Does it really matter? It might. It's really not that important. There are a plethora of resources you can go to find out about various types of herbs and spices. For Parkour Kitchen, we're going to focus today on the how you use these spices. Let's keep it simple. First, don't be shy. When you're using herbs and spices, use more than you generally feel inclined to do, because the chances are that you're missing out on a lot of potential flavor. And don't be shy about mixing various spices and herbs as well. For example, when I'm making salsa, I like to add a lot of cilantro. Now, you may get to the point where you've added too much cilantro, and that's okay, because then you kind of know the threshold of how much cilantro you'll want. Another case in point, when frying an egg, I love to use paprika. Now, most of us use just a simple dash of paprika and call it good. However, if you use a lot of paprika, like that, so much that the color changes a bit in the food you're making, you'll notice a huge increase in the overall flavor quality of the food that you're having. So number one, don't be shy with what you're making. Another example with not being shy is when I'm making something with basil or thyme or rosemary, I use a lot. Some might just dash a little there and think it's good. However, you're missing out. Use more of that spice, because spices are relatively easy to get a hold of and last for a long time. Now, I know a lot of you have spice racks at home. You're either gifted it at a wedding or party, or maybe you picked it up for yourself. Time and time again, I come across spice racks with dust all over them. They're not used. They're not cared for. They just sit as sort of a decoration on the counter. Break up open that spice rack. Experiment a little. Take something you've never heard of before or don't know how to use and Google on what to use that in. Then, when you go to use it, add a lot in there. Don't be shy about it. Next, wake up that spice. That's right. Most of the spices and herbs we cook with need a little bit of a panku wake up in the morning to get that flavor rolling out of them. The best ways to wake up your herbs and spices is to use heat and liquid to get them saturated and moist so they can start giving off the aroma and the oils and the flavor that they have locked inside of them, especially if they've been stored for a long time as a dry ingredient. For example, bust out your frying pan, use a little bit of oil, take out your herb. In this case, I've got thyme. Time for thyme. And now, when you put it in, remember, don't be shy, and let it hit the oil. You'll notice you have a good amount of oil and thyme on there. Go ahead and put that in the oven and apply heat. Add in your vegetables, your meats, or whatever it is that you're making, and allow that at the beginning of the cooking process to start heating up so that they can start releasing those flavors to the food that you're making. This is what we call waking up the food. Last motto for the day in herbs and spices is that fresh is always best, but if you don't have, then don't stress. If you can get a hold of fresh herbs and spices, they are the best thing to add to your food. Fresh is easiest with cilantro, basil, thyme. Fresh spices is a bit of a misnomer. You can buy anise, mustard, and other spices that come in a more fresh form than you traditionally get powdered up and stored in a bottle. When using fresh herbs, cut them up as if you would any vegetable and add them in either at the beginning or the end of the cooking process. Fresh herbs more readily release their flavors into the food that you're making. And again, even with fresh, remember, don't be shy and help wake it up. We wake fresh herbs up by cutting them up so that the juices inside of the leaves get a chance to secrete out into the food that you're making. Remember, above all, explore and have a great time. Leave your comments below on your favorite herb or spice. Until next time,